Hi, I guess we can start with the session now. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes,
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 Harshita,
Harshita,
you're
you're
audible.
audible. Great. So let's start with the session. Hi everyone, thank you for joining in. Today is the second day for the workshop with Mrig, and yesterday we talked about the pricing strategies and client handling part. Today we will be specifying our talk about the content marketing. And hi Mrig, welcoming you to the FIFA talks again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Harshita. It's a pleasure to be here, and I see a lot of familiar names around, and I'm very excited to talk about my particular space and give you particular examples of how I talk to clients and what's my approach on SaaS marketing in general.
Right. So let's start with the questions. I have some questions for you. Meanwhile, we can like take up the audience questions as well. I'll coordinate with that.
Yes,
Yes,
and I
and I
would
would
love for everybody to participate. Quickly, just before Harshita even begins, I would love to, know how many of you are familiar with search engine optimization (SEO), and if you've heard of the SEO tool Ahref. Just
just
let me
let
know
me
in
know
the
in the
chat.
chat.
Say
Say
yes
yes
if
if
you
you
know
know
SEO
SEO
and
and
that
that
tool
tool.
that I'm talking about, or just say no if you guys don't know anything about it, so that I know that I have to give more context and talk a little bit more about whatever we'll discuss today. Harshita, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, let's I am waiting for the people's response. So Ayushi says that she knows about SEO but not the tool. Others are yet to reply. Familiar with SEO. Okay. Please everyone reply with the same. Actually, I guess she left due to some issues. Rejoining again.
I'm so
So
sorry,
sorry,
Harshita.
Harshita.
It was the
It was the
window
window
again.
again.
I'm so sorry. It'll take some time to get used to the platform.
No issues at all. Like some of the people know about the SEO, but with the tool, not anyone is familiar. I guess.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
All right, all right.
Okay, so then starting with the questions, the first question is always about what exactly the SaaS content marketing is about, and what comes the role of a SaaS content marketer when, when you are a SaaS content marketer. So what exactly you are doing and what this is all about.
Sure. So SaaS is software as a service. So anything that you use on the cloud on a subscription basis, generally speaking, is SaaS. So think of Spotify, think of Netflix, think of Amazon, and then when I speak of SaaS, people usually imagine a clunky software or something very technical, but that's not the case. There are a lot of B2B, B2C as well as B2B products nowadays that are very interesting. Think of Trello, think of Asana. Those are all tools that you guys use. Those are all, a form of application, a software that you use on the cloud on a subscription basis. Even Gmail, for that matter, is SaaS. But Gmail is free, right? They don't charge you anything for it. Trello and a lot of other softwares as well, applications are free for a particular period of time, and then they would want you to charge on a subscription basis for their services. Previously, before SaaS came into being, this was not the case. So if you think of, there used to be softwares that you had to install to enhance your business processes and things like that. And so think of the times there were DVD, CDs, and not Spotify. Adobe and those platforms still use the version of the software where you can actually install the software and buy a one-time license. But even the changes and the way people are the changes in the pattern of consumption even has forced companies like Adobe to move to a model where you're charging customers on a month-to-month basis. Now, this also has brought about a lot of change that we can talk about, and how as a content marketer you need to be thinking on those terms. What has become important is your job once you get the customer is not done, because it's a subscription basis, and you have to make sure that you retain the customer over a period of time. So you have to really keep engaging with the customer, whether it's B2B or B2C, and keep informing them about how they can best use the tool, or how they can maximize the experience, and make sure that they get the return on investment that they have put in for the tool or the service that they are using. Okay. So SaaS content marketing is everything about how you can use content to help these SaaS products and services, SaaS product service and SaaS product and SaaS service companies market to their audiences via the power of content. It usually takes some time. Content does not like show its effects immediately, but one way or the other, you every big company has to invest in it. And like I said, SaaS poses a unique challenge, which is the job is not done once the customer or the client is converted. You also need to make sure that you're constantly educating and engaging with the customer that you have, so that the customer retention is amplified. I mean, the customer stays with your product or service, and the lifetime value of a customer, which is a term we use in SaaS, as to how long the customer stays with you, is also also increases over a period of time. So that's about SaaS and SaaS content marketing. Harshita, like, guys, just let me know in the chat if you guys follow, and if things are good so far. So yeah, awesome. Harshita, yes, you can go ahead with your next question.
We have a question from Savik. How to get started as a SaaS writer? Creating portfolio only is not working for me. Should I require to work example to
Work
become a
experience to become a
content
content
marketer?
marketer. Yeah. So uh, Savik, I would so how to get started as a SaaS writer? Like you would get started in any other field, you have to write a few samples at the start. So you're not talking about SaaS marketing. Just for everybody here, there's a difference between being a SaaS writer and being a SaaS strategist and being a SaaS marketer in general. So writer is somebody who will only write content. He or she might not necessarily strategize what are the topics that need to be picked up, and then things like that. So Sovnik, your question as to how you get started as a SaaS writer is like you would in any other industry, in fitness, health, or whatever. You write a couple of articles, you post it on various sites, and you use them to pitch it to clients. Creating portfolio only is not working for me. So I would like to know, have you created a portfolio, and is that not working for you, or you are not able to find out how to get started with the process of building the portfolio? I'll answer both the questions. So how do you get started with the process of building a portfolio? Like I said, write on topics that interests you, trending things in SaaS, or whatever topic that you think, 5 tips for better customer education, or how to improve customer satisfaction using and use NPL score or something like that. Write articles on those topics and publish it on Medium and other places where SaaS articles get published. There are, just Google, you'll find a lot of places, GetApp, Hackanoon, a lot of places where SaaS people hang around, and probably pitch to those places. It might be difficult if you don't have any other sample published anywhere else to even pitch to these companies that accept guest posts. But so start with Medium or have your own blog, write on LinkedIn maybe, and that's the way, get started with an article or two, and then start pitching. Maybe you can even target these guest blogs where SaaS people hang around, and that's how, you can create your first pieces. And then as you start working with clients, maybe you would want to have bylines for your articles. That's the way you'll go about creating your portfolio. The second possibility is, if you have a portfolio but you don't know, but you're not getting clients. In that case, I need to again have more context on, have you pitched to clients and that's not working out, or is there a problem with, the quality of the article, or maybe, those articles like are not enough to convince the client for whatever, that you can do the job of the content writer. I really need to have more context on that. Should I really require work experience to become a content marketer in SaaS? I would say yes. To become a marketer, you have to have experience. To become a writer, not necessarily so. So see, to do any form of strategy or any form of marketing, the client will not trust you with their money right off the bat. You really need to have some experience to, show them data as to what you've done for your past clients, or, what you've already done to get them to, give you the project. So maybe at the start you would want to work for some other, maybe take up a part-time internship or opportunity where you really get hands-on experience with marketing or strategy, which you can then use to pitch to your clients. Or what you can do is, for the first two clients, like tell them, that you don't have experience, quote unquote, in marketing or in strategy, but you know all these things about marketing and strategy, and you would love to try it out with them. And, or if you have clients for whom you're already writing, tell them that, I have this thing in mind, can we just try it out with your product? And from there, maybe you want to collect a lot of data, and give them the results, or try out the marketing experiment or the strategy that you're thinking of, give them the results, and then take it from there, get a testimonial, and then, collect that data, put up a case study, and then again use it to pitch to other clients. So I hope that answered your question. Please let me know, if there's anything else around that. Quality. Okay, so you're saying quality. The start is becoming tougher for me in SaaS. Yeah, I mean, I would argue that not just in SaaS. I mean, talk to any writer who writes in the personal development space, or any writer who writes in the fitness or health space. Those spaces are equally competitive. And if you look at SaaS, the graph is only going to go up. SaaS is trending and it will continue doing so. There's never going there are going to be ample of opportunities even in the coming future. So, and also, even in SaaS, I mean, if you guys write for fitness or health, there are products and tools out there. SaaS is what? Any software, any application. So there are health apps, there are fitness apps. So why don't you combine the two of them together? I'm a SaaS writer who writes for health brands, or, I'm a communication SaaS writer, which, so communication SaaS writers are people who write for collaboration tools, or where teams get together. So Trello, Asana, and all of those tools. Productivity SaaS is, time management softwares and tools. So think of, Clockify, that lets you track your time when you're working on something. Productivity apps like Time Doctor, and, even apps that track your productivity throughout the day, like Rescue Time, or apps or applications that let you track how well you've slept, or things like that. And bring the two of them together, and then that would be a wonderful combination. So if you've been writing in health and fitness, that would be like a good pitch to somebody in SaaS as well. So I've been writing in health and SaaS, health and fitness. I understand, your space well, and I think I can do this. I mean, I hope that made things clear. And SaaS is like very, very broad. So quality, yes, you need to work, you need to know whatever space inside of SaaS even that you're working on, and with time, it usually comes. It's really not that tough. So I hope that was an okay answer. Let me know if there's any other concerns around that. I'm happy to answer.
Okay, let's move towards the next question. Whenever we have another question from the audience, I'll let you know.
Uh, Yes, so I think just
The basics of SaaS lies in customer retention on month basis more than acquiring new clients. Right. She left again. Just waiting for a minute more.
so I mean, uh, I'll tell you. So the way we all do content marketing is, you usually have a list of topics that on which you want to write blogs or case studies or testimonials, depending on what your client wants them to do. And if you're a strategist, you would really want to go about through the process of filtering out keywords and starting with the bottom of the funnel content, and then trying to create templates and then things that will invite people to your company page. And there usually what most people are doing is, you would have a form which you ask the prospect to fill out, and then you get their email addresses, which is what we call gated content. So there is a gate behind which you often have resources. So there are two ways. Once a customer comes to your website, consumes a particular piece of content, you would want to collect their email addresses, and then it's open to them if they want to give the address or not. The second way is also, you have some premium content on your site, and you're using some form of email capture to let the customer have access to that content. And what that essentially again is doing, once you have the email id, you in somewhere down the road, you would first want to nurture that lead that's come to your website through, again, some more content through the email, and then you would want to pitch your product through email marketing. Now there are a lot of problems with this form of the second form that I talked about, having premium resources behind some email capture, which is called gated content. So there's a gate, you can break that gate through your email id, and the prospect can break that gate through an email id. It's called gated content. Okay. There's a lot of problem with gating content these days. One, customers are less willing to give their email IDs, and two is, you don't know whether the lead is, fit for your product or not. Just because somebody downloaded a training guide from your website does not mean that they are interested in the product. So so there are a lot of problems with this. Also, recently Strategist did a study where they revealed that, for any prospect or client to get into your product or to make the purchasing decision, they have to experience the product in one way or the other. And in the survey, what they did was, they asked customers as to, what was that aha moment that led you to get the product or the service. And they said that it's usually, testimonials, case studies, and things they've heard from the customers or through their own network or referrals. And this told a number of things. Also, 87% of the people who were surveyed said that, gated content didn't motivate them to make the buying decision, or email marketing did not really necessarily persuade them to, make the move towards the product or the service. Now, what this also said is a few things. Is one is, people don't trust whatever blogs you're writing, whatever resources you're putting out, which is, we as content marketers and writers, like, we do this all day in and day out. And this the survey says that, people don't trust that. All they are looking for is case studies and testimonials and all of those things. Nobody is trusting the reviews that the company writes itself, because they know, of course, it's going to be biased, and those things. All customers are looking for is for them to experience the product in one way or the other. Even when they are looking for testimonials and what other customers have said, what they're looking for is, what people are talking about the product, and what they're essentially trying to get a sense of, what the product would feel like, once they've brought it. Will it be a success? And they want to know more about it. And also, in a recent interview, the tool that I was talking about, Ahref, it's a SEO tool, and what it lets you do is, it lets you filter SEO keywords that are popular, and that have the potential for your blog to rank. And Ahref's CMO Tim Saul, on his hypothesis on how to grow a SaaS company, and something that he has personally used to grow this company that I'm talking about, Ahref, to over $100 million, is, he says, my theory is that people don't sign up for your tool and then learn how to use it. My theory is that, people first learn how to use your tools, and then they sign up because they know how to use your tool. So again, what he's saying is, people have to experience using your product even before they have signed up in some way or the other. And if you look at Ahrefs, this tool that I'm talking about, you search them anywhere on YouTube, just make a Google search. Throughout, all their customer education pieces, what they are doing is, they are teaching you how to do SEO research through their own tool only. They're not talking about why SEO is important, or ranking can help you, or what at or all of those things at all. They are all telling how you can find keywords, rank through their tool. Okay. And so again, this company is letting you experience the product even before you've signed up. No, like, I mean, 80% of people who and it's straight away premium. Okay, you don't get to experience the free tool in any way. And 80% of like people who watch their channel, who 80% of the traffic they were getting initially were people who were not using their product, and they saw the video till the end, even though, like,
ये
I
दो
mean,
नहीं कह रहे आने को
the
मुझे नहीं
one
यही करना
one block, even one block, is that you have to have the tool to solve your problem. So why would people even watch those videos when it's all about their product only?
get out कह रहा है ये
And this
voice
is something that we all need to be thinking about. So what essentially Arif did is, they did something called product led storytelling. So they made their customers see how, even before they've signed up for the product, they have let them experience how using that tool will feel like, without, I mean, the traditional ways, using testimonials and case studies to get the people to experience the product. But what Arif is doing is product led storytelling. So what it's doing is, it's using stories to tell prospects who are watching, who are consuming their content, that look, these people, and like, there are a shit ton of people out there who use our tool in this manner, to search for this keyword, to solve this problem. Okay. And like, this is the way they've acquired, they've reached $100 million. And everybody who signs for their product has seen their very popular YouTube channel at one point or the other. And in like, all of it is just talking about the product. And that's what you need to be doing. You, at the end of it, you want to talk about the product, and but also talk about the product in a way that the customers are willing to listen. And how do you do that? And this whole line of thinking of how can you make the customer experience the product even before they've signed up, is something that we need to be really thinking about more and more. This is what is called product led storytelling. I wrote a blog recently on my website. It's called The Death of Marketing Qualified Leads, MQLs, and the Rise of Product Led Storytelling. And what it's essentially saying is, people who are into marketing and sales. So very often what happens is, the marketing team in any SaaS company, they usually have a quota that of leads that they want to, get in to hit the whatever revenue goal the company, or whatever milestone the company has. And very often those leads come from, like I said, downloading a guide or doing all of these. Otherwise, how would a marketing person know that they are getting leads? And this is like, getting people to sign up for the product is the only way they do this. But like I said, somebody downloading a training guide does not necessarily mean that they are interested in the product or service. And this is not working anymore. So like, marketing teams have to no more just hit those numbers, or try to get leads which are no more actually going down the funnel and converting into actually paying customers, or getting them to convert down the line. And this is where product led storytelling comes in. So the traditional SaaS funnel is this. You have marketing qualified leads, and people, and you score them. So based on the number of emails they have opened, or the number of blogs they've consumed, you rank them a score. There is my marketing qualified lead, so you capture the email, and then you can track the customer basically as to how many emails they opened, how many more pieces of blogs they consumed, and what are the actions towards your company's product or service the customer took. And based on the scores that the leads have, they will maybe be pitched the product at a particular point in time, or they will be given to the sales team to give them a call, and then if it's an enterprise or a B2B product, given to the sales team to pick it up from there. This is the traditional SaaS funnel. What I'm talking about is, and in this model, how you want to be creating content is, you want to have 10 pieces maybe that just cater to the first part of the funnel, which is the awareness stage, and then maybe you want to have 10 pieces that cater just to the consideration stage, and then the retention, and then all of the other stages of the funnel. This is the traditional way of doing it. Now, what I'm talking about is, if you want to have the customer experience the product before they've even signed up, so that they have a taste of what they are signing up for, and they know, and they're sure that that what you're promising is actually what it is, and that they will have their problems when they sign up for your tool or product. So even before they've made the commitment to help the customer understand what the product will taste and feel like, you need to have something called product-led storytelling. And in product-led storytelling, every content piece is a funnel in itself. And how you go about creating these pieces is, one is, you start by documenting who your customer is. You want to very clearly understand what is the pain point that you're solving, and what is the end outcome going to be, and what are the different things that happen because of that pain, whatever problem it is. What are the different things that they have, and how those problems become a block in what the customer wants to achieve. And you want to document all of those things. And in the content piece that you're writing, you will call out the buyer persona and what problem they have. You want to call it out, and it's a sales tactic. I think we discussed this yesterday as well. Even when you are on a discovery call, or when you're making the proposal after the discovery call, you want to call out and tell the client as to why they themselves admitted that doing the project right now was important, and what the problem was, and how the tomorrow would look like. And we want to do the same thing in our content pieces, in our SaaS content pieces. We want to call out the audience, the pain point that they have, and then we want to engage them with stories of the product that we have, and show how those how our product has been able to successfully solve that particular problem. Okay. And at the end of it, you want to use copywriting to prod or to encourage the users to trial your product. Okay. And this is something that I keep saying to everybody who comes to me on advice on what is like SaaS writing, or marketing, SaaS marketing in general. Your aim at the end of every content piece in SaaS is not for you to maybe get the customer to convert, because it's not going to happen that quickly, especially if it's a B2B high-end product. That's not what it's going to happen. And please don't try to use email IDs and all of those shitty marketing tactics to be able to use this. What you want to do, what your aim should be with one content piece, is at the end of the content piece, once the prospect has read that blog post or whatever content piece it is, they want to move to the next and the next and the next, till the point that there has been significant trust between you and the person who is reading the content piece, that they want to really think about investing in the product. And the content really has to be that good. And how do you do that is, like I said, you engage them with stories of your product, as to how somebody used the product and solved that pain point, or how exactly that pain point that you're talking about can be solved with the product. And you don't want to be so the way I'm the process I'm talking about, product-led storytelling, and the way you educate your customers through this method is different from how we've been doing content marketing for SaaS. Like I said, you create 10 pieces of content saying, okay, this is for the awareness stage, this is for the consideration stage, this is for the retention stage, and all of those things. And those blogs don't necessarily relate to your product or your service in any way. And this is something that I talked about again in the very first session that I did with Harshita. You don't want your marketing strategy to be different from your product, or to be very or your content pieces to be separated from what your product or your users are. the entire marketing strategy has to be very customer centric and product centric. So you don't want to be doing keyword researches and finding out keywords that are trending, or that are I mean very much popular, and that would get you more Google rankings and things like that. Those are vanity metrics, I would say. You really want to see, what are the content pieces that will serve your product. Okay, that will get you closer, that will get your customers, closer to your product, or that will help your customers understand your product better, or understand how a particular problem can be solved via your tool better. So you don't want to, focus too much on, so if it's live chat, one thing that you have to remember is that you can never beat, Drift and Intercom and all those big companies when it comes to that keyword. So don't even go about trying that. Think about, what particular problem you're solving that Drift and Intercom is not, and just talk about that. Don't go about, trying to educate the customer on, why they should be doing live chat and things like that. Like I said, the space is already very competitive. So you just want to be focusing on, what is that very niche problem you're solving inside of that big live chat stream, and not go about, going with vanity metrics like search volume and keyword difficulty, and then go about creating content that's very different from your product, that does not keep your product or your customers at the center and in mind. So use product led storytelling. At the end, the aim of the content should be, to get the customer to read the next piece of content after they've finished reading one piece of content, because they so loved how, your product can magically help them, get over the pain point that they're looking an answer for. And in B2C especially, so B2B and B2C are a little different. In B2C, maybe you want to focus a little bit more on, because you are marketing to a very large audience. And for those of you who don't understand the difference, B2B is business to customer. So think of tools like Lucia. I don't know if you've heard of the tool. Think of, B2C products. I mean, any product that serves customers directly. So Netflix, Spotify, all of them are B2C. B2B is business to business. Okay, so Slack. Slack is a communication tool that lets teams collaborate on the platform and talk with each other. So that's B2B. uh, like, okay, B2C also in some ways. Maybe I picked up the wrong example. Data management platforms will be B2B. Any tool or service that's serving one business to the other is B2B. In B2C, where you marketing to a very large audience at one point of time, maybe you want to consider awareness a little bit, your aim of getting them to read one piece after the other is more important in B2B, because the sales cycle is long. In B2C, what you want them to do is you want to have so much of trust and so much of education to the customer, that at some point they go and they start feeling guilty about not using your product, and consuming so much content from you. Which is a very interesting way, I think, to look at it. B2C, in B2C, also what happens is there is no demo for the product or the service, and customers are left on their own to figure out, how to use the tool or the product. So you also need to be focusing a lot on, helping the customer, make the most of your tool or service by, educating them more and more after they've signed up for the product. B2B, this is not the case, because you have a demo, like the company will come to you and talk to your founder and help the whole team understand how to use the product on a call itself. And every 15 days, some companies will get you on a call and try to ask you. There is a separate customer support section. Customer support is there in B2C as well, but more prominent in B2B, where the tool requires using the tool itself requires a lot of education, which cannot be had through just when you're left on your own and just to consume pieces of content on your own. In B2C, content marketing plays a more significant role. B2B, till the point the conversion happens, I mean, their content is more important, and after that, you just might want to have a support doc section which tells the user if they are stuck in any problem. But even then, the company who's selling you the product, talking one on one with them is more the norm. With B2C, customers are left on their own to figure out how the tool works, and if they have any problems, they reach out themselves. So you really want, so there the content marketing is more significant, and is more significant even after the conversion has happened. So you need to be thinking about all these things, and move away from the traditional SaaS funnel where you create separate pieces, and think about how you can use product led storytelling to let the customer experience the product or service even before they've signed up. So I think I went on for too long. Harshita, was that okay? People tell me in the chat box. Okay, so we also have some questions. Harshita, do you want to take them up and ask?
Yeah, and even like people are enjoying the answers because these are so detailed and based on real applications, so quite helpful.
I'm glad. Okay. So Harshita, do you want to ask these questions right now?
Yeah, let's take them up because these are like more relevant to the problems they are facing right now. So we can take them up. Okay. Souvik asks any resources to absorb the nitty gritty of SaaS on daily basis, like to keep be updated with the industry.
uh, uh, to be updated in the industry, one I think resource that I suggest everybody is YouTube channel of TK Kader. I think I told about this again in the first session that I had with Harshita. I'll write it in the chat box. He has some really good information around, even on Twitter. If you follow that guy, he has some really useful information around SaaS marketing. So even if you're just getting started, TK Kader, he has some really interesting stuff around SaaS. And if you just keep listening to him every day, day in and out, he gives you so many references and so many examples that every day just going through that company's page, or going through the resource that he suggested, is more than enough to get a good understanding of the whole SaaS space. I also listen to a lot of SaaSter. So SaaSter is a community of SaaS people, marketers, sales people, and all of those people in SaaS. And it's a huge community of SaaS founders and people who want to start their own SaaS products and services. And they give you a lot of education around everything from sales to marketing to hiring and everything around SaaS. So I type in SaaSter on YouTube or on Google, and I look out for all the marketing blogs that they have. A lot of market CMOs, chief marketing officers of different companies, different SaaS companies, Slack, open like Slack and other places, just hang around and share their advice on how they took the company from 0 to 1 million ARR, which is annual recurring revenue, or from 1 million to 5 million, and so on. So SaaSter, TK Kader, I think those two resources are more than enough, and those two people will again reference to a lot of other things that you can consume and learn from.
Great. So like you can put the names. Yeah.
Yes, I'll just do that, Harshita. So
So another question: trials are necessary in the SaaS. What I have observed, because after a month, the clients, the people leave. So as a content guy, how to make them convert into a buying customer for long term?
okay, so trials. So you're saying sample pieces as a writer, Savnik? Am I correct? Um,
Yeah, like free trials or a limited trial period. After that, the person has to buy, uh, buy the product. So how to actually convert them from just using the trials to actually buying the product?
so is this from like a content writer's perspective, like how to get them on a retainer model, or is this from the company's perspective as to how you convert them from a trial to a paying customer?
As a content guy, he has written.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. So I think Somnik, you might want to check out the session we did yesterday on pricing and road mapping. Like, I mean, so how do you convert them on a retainer model? I think it's like pretty much straightforward. You start with a like you start writing pieces. Maybe you might want to do a road mapping project. I said I think I took an example of just planning in the road mapping process. You can also, if you if you're a writer, do a sample piece in the roadmap to get started. And after a blog or two, when they are happy with it and things are going like well, you might want to pitch in with something like, hey, I'm looking to have like I my times are. You want to be very smart about how you pitch them on. Let's do a retainer. And let's sign up a contract for the next 4 or 6 months where I'm your writer, and we get to write a particular number of pieces, content pieces every month. So you want to say something like, hey, I have like a lot of clients, and I want to be, and I really enjoy working with you, I'm looking to have only 2 or 3 quality clients because I want my work to be the best. So I was wondering if you would want to have a retainer model with me for the next 2 or 3 months, something like that. Or if you think if there is enough trust between you and the client, then maybe pitch for more than 2 or 3 months. I like to have it 4 months, like and I usually factor in also the different meetings we'll have to discuss every month. What are we going to write, and all the content like pieces that I'm going to write every month, and sell them on the benefits of how they can be assured that they will have you for the next 3 or 4 months, so they don't have to like keep waiting for the content, or they'll have somebody to always go to when they are signing a retainer model. And you also want to talk about how, like, one thing, of course, you'll be available whenever they want, and that you become a special client once you sign a retainer model. The second is also how you are also open to have like a fixed number of meetings, and commit to it, and also on feedback meetings that you would not usually have if it's just on the fly. Any writer who like a writer, even if they are giving somebody who they are giving consistent work, you really want to have it like legally written down that for the next 4 months, this is going to be our writer, like he or she is going to be our writer, and this is how much we are going to pay them before the start of the month, and she's going to write these many pieces for us. So yeah, really sell them on the benefits. Talk to them about how they'll always have a writer to go to, and also somebody they can talk to about their content requirements. So yeah, convert it like that. That's how I've done it. I You also want to make sure that you don't pitch too early. Okay, so again, I would highly recommend Sovereign, that once Harshita uploads yesterday's session on how to build trust with your clients, and get started, put yourself in their shoes and think through it. I'll use the same advice. Put yourself in their shoes, and really see if there has been enough trust between you and the client. You don't want to be pitching too early, before they are even sure about how you want to go ahead with it. And I think this is a mistake that I did with one of my clients. I pitched them too early on a retainer, and I was too adamant about just doing a retainer, which ended up they being very disappointed. And you really don't want to have any cracks in the relationship between you and the client, especially when you don't know each other very well, because that thing is going to come up the next time they talk to you and assign you a task or anything like that. So give it some time. Let them keep giving you work, and see how prompt you are, and how there is something that's off their plate or off their head once you are taking care of that piece, or those number of articles or whatever it is. Give it I like to like give it 1.5 months time before I pitch them on a retainer. And you might, like, depending on how the relationship with your client is, you might want to think about when also you want to be pitching a retainer with the client. I hope that was helpful, and let me know if Harshita, is there any follow-up question?
There is another question, but what I'll do is I'll unmute people and they can like directly ask the questions, because with this, like, they have so many big questions and doubts. So I just not to miss anything, they can directly ask to you, right?
Sure.
Ayushi, I have unmuted you. You can ask your queries, whatever you had.
Yeah, sure. So, hi, Greg. It was an amazing session. My question is a little generalized, not directly related to SaaS content, which is right beginning at like as being a fresher on at initial phase. putting up credential becomes a little bit of a challenge, because at one time you feel like you should put out what you aim for. At another time it feels unfair that okay, you don't have proper experience, how could it claim to be something which you're not. So I would like to know your suggestions on that.
So, Aishi, you're talking. So, tell me, give me a little more context on what kind of credentials you're talking about. Is it when you're
Like even
pricing
on
your
LinkedIn,
services?
like I'm talking on very basic stage, like even on LinkedIn to put up your bio or something like that, like before even like getting your clients.
So you correct me if I'm wrong. You're asking me, you feel afraid of putting out credentials as to who are you to be contending all these different things that you've done. Is that correct?
Without experience, I mean, I aim to be trying out content writing, but like I don't have experience, so that I don't want to be misleading.
Yes, yes. First of all, before I talk about this, I should commend you on, being courageous enough to ask that question. Even when I started out, it felt it feels this kind of imposter syndrome and this sense of phoniness. Okay, what if, people, I mean, we are sure about who we are, but also, we feel sometimes afraid as to being exposed as to who we actually are. And there is a very fine line between the two, and very often it's very difficult if there has not been any external validation to really tell you that you're good with it or not. So I would say, it happens with everybody. I mean, I wish you don't worry about it. What you and I think I shared it on my LinkedIn profile. I guess about a month back. It said something like, go ahead and do what you want to do, because there are a lot of people out there who are doing it much worse than you, and are making more money off of that. So you have every right to go ahead, and just be doing what you want to do. And really, so one thing that will help maybe, Ayushi, is, just coming out and talking to people, and really understanding how they maybe got over this, where they are currently in their journey, and how it's very much listen to stories, and talk to people about, who also like you got started with, no prior experience in content marketing, and then this is how they got started. And you just sitting there and thinking about, I don't feel all that well to get started, is not going to help you. Like I said, this happens before you have had external validation from like people. So that, I mean, confidence that, yes, you can do it without even any experience, or right, starting from scratch, that yes, that's possible. That confidence will come from competence, and that competence also will come from like some form of external validation. And that is, again, it's sort of a loop. It'll come when you start getting clients, and you start getting paid for, what you're doing. And the more and more that's going to happen, the more you're going to get out of that circle. So break out of it. Talk to people who have started, just like you. There are a lot of us. I had like I took some corporate experience, and then I got like started with freelancing. But there are a lot of good people out there who might make not talk to you one on one, but with their, LinkedIn stories, and stories on other places, will tell you as to, how they got over it. So, take strength from that. And, like I said, it's not going to happen if you just keep sitting around. Go ahead, no matter how you're feeling. It's sort of make it a discipline. Go out, reach out to people, start getting clients, and once you start having that external validation of, making money off of what you're doing, and other people appreciating it, you will, like, feel that, this is absolutely doable, and that you can do it. Was that helpful?
Yeah,
Did
it
that
was
answer?
really very helpful. Thank you for this great explanation and insights. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Harshita, maybe we can take on the next person.
Yeah, I guess Sovik had doubts. So if Sovik, if you are here, you can unmute yourself and tell what questions are already left. Uh,
Um, He said maybe that
Yes.
he's traveling and that he can't talk, and I think some people might not also be comfortable coming on audio. So if that's the case, just let Harshita know. That's also absolutely fine. I'll be happy to answer your question
Okay, so
otherwise as well. And
a general question that people had is about getting SaaS clients. Like once you have started as a SaaS content writer or a SaaS content marketer, how to uh, acquire SaaS clients and what platforms are or what the methods are truly effective in this case.
so how to get started with having SaaS clients. So is the question, Harshita, more on how to get more clients or how to get started with having clients?
It's just like how to acquire SaaS clients. So maybe
Okay.
get started with the industry first.
Yes. So I'll answer both the questions. So first is, how do you get clients if you have not had any clients in the past? You don't. I mean, you like really SaaS people and people in SaaS, especially founders and CEOs these days. This is like a very premium space, to be very honest and not all people, everybody around, because usually they have fundings from people. That's the way most SaaS startups start. Very 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 few of them will be bootstrapped, and those are the companies who might want to look at taking some risks and having freelancers. And the other companies usually have, okay, just give me a second. Oops, I'm sorry, the wind is here, just pushed my door. Yeah. So yes, I was telling you about how, yeah, so most of these companies have a lot of funding, and they have money, so money is not a block for them. So they might not be willing to invest in amateurs, so people who don't understand the space. So a good way to get started is, and this is roughly speaking from my experience. I mean, exceptions always exist. So if you're getting started in SaaS, you might want to have subcontracts. So get in touch with agencies and get in touch with other freelancers who write in the SaaS space, and ask them, they usually give out work when they have too much of it to other freelance writers and strategists in the space. And that is where you want to get started and build a portfolio first, and learn how actually product led storytelling is done, and how these blogs are written, and how you really use the terminology of, or use the lexicon of the product or service you're writing about. So you want to learn the niceties and the skills from other agencies and other freelance writers who give out work to other freelancers or who outsource work. That's the place you can get started. And my initial portfolio in SaaS. So I was a content manager in the Russian embassy. So I had like a lot of writing samples, and of course I was managing other freelancers in at the embassy under me. But I like that. That's not SaaS, right? It's more of, and I worked in the science and culture department of the embassy. So that's not SaaS, that's not software. What I did was, I started working part time along with a content writing agency, and there I wrote for SaaS clients, and like two of the most popular SaaS clients in the space. And that's where I had my first portfolio, and I knew actually the skills, and how to actually write for software and applications industry, and then this space. And then slowly I started getting, I let my clients know that, hey, I have not worked independently for any SaaS company, but I would love to try out on your product. I've been the content manager at so and so company, and then started from there again. Started very small again there also, and then took it from there. And so okay, so if you, the second question as to if you have been having clients in SaaS for some time, how do you get started with having more? I mean, it's like any general advice on getting more clients. How do you do that? Reach out to your past clients and ask for referrals. I think this is, like, many freelancers don't use this. Even when you are done with your engagement with your past clients, don't like lose contact. Keep sending them some resources that they might find useful for whatever currently they are pursuing, and keep in touch in one way or the other. Or if you're connected on social media, you want to make sure that they are seeing you sometime or the other. So if they have somebody in their network who needs help with something similar that you had done for them, then they can always reach out and connect with you. And those are usually the best referrals, because because the trust is already built. Some friend recommended them to you, and and they trust their friends, so they would in turn also trust you. So referrals. The second is outbound email. So you want to have a good portfolio and you want to do outbound emails. And the third is, of course, you put out content consistently on LinkedIn, particularly, and talk about how you maybe achieved some results for your SaaS clients in the past, and how you have some bandwidth this month and you want to onboard more clients. And in general, when you're putting out LinkedIn posts or tweeting on Twitter, you want to make it clear that you are a SaaS writer or a SaaS strategist. So inbound, outbound emails, and referrals and your networks. Those are like the three ways. Like, I mean, nothing new, but yeah, I hope that was helpful and that answered the question.
I guess it answers the question. Let me know if anyone has any more question. One question Souvik had previously was, can a content writer become a content strategist and content marketer with adequate experience?
Can a content writer become a content strategist? I did not catch the last part. And content marketer with adequate experience. Okay. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Like I said, in an answer to a previous question, I said, if you are a content writer, like I said, even with being a strategist and a marketer, people in SaaS will not give you the project right straight away. You want to really have some testimonials and some case studies to show that you've used some data in the past and shown some results for your clients. And how do you do that? You might have the first case is you don't have you're not doing SaaS writing and you want to get started with content strategy straight away. In that case, you really need to might want to take a part-time job or an internship, which can help you taking data and then like help you experiment with all of those things on the company's money, or the company is paying you and you get to learn all of these things as well. The second way is you start with a lot of discounted work or free work at the start to just like experiment in the strategy and the marketing space, and have some results for the first client, and then move to the next and the next. Those are like the only two ways. If you are already a SaaS content writer, then it's very easy to move to into strategy and marketing, because in the client calls, or when you have like your monthly meetings or weekly meetings, in that maybe you can start proposing new things, and don't charge anything straight away. You might want to talk through the whole strategy first, and then charge for the execution, or ask the client to in the testimonial state how your some strategy that you suggested help them achieve such and such result. Or if you are a writer, propose, and if there is enough trust between you and the client, and talk to them about how you would like to how they can do something, or how you would like to show them a plan of how they can strategize some set of keywords if it's strategy, or how you can write a particular set of emails to optimize the existing content pieces for the list, for the email list that they already have, or something like that. Okay. So yes, absolutely doable. Like I said, if you want to think about, you want to have the first two clients are a little difficult, especially in strategy and marketing, because the results take time, especially with content. And you have to be very patient with the process. But after that, it's just a breeze. Things start getting easier from there. So I hope that answered the question, Harshita and Sovnik. Yes, awesome.
Great. So I'm really sorry. Actually, I have to go to the hospital. I told you yesterday, right? About my
Yes,
mom.
yes. Yes, so Harshita's mom is not well, and also we've been talking for about an hour. So if you guys like have any other questions, like I said, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I take a while to respond maybe, but I'll get back to all your questions, and I would love to chat with all of you on LinkedIn.
And
Connect me with there. I'm happy to answer like all your questions.
you can message me your questions and I'll get it communicated with Mirik. so that all the questions
Yes,
are at one place and
definitely.
she can like answer, and I'll coordinate for the same. So you can message me either on the group or personally to me. So I'll definitely get coordinated with any of your questions remain uh, after the session.
Yes, yes, Harshita, absolutely. Just let me know. And I hope you guys, all of you guys, enjoyed like listening to this. Thank you for being so